He's muted.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. So, some interesting technical difficulties this morning as we go live on location. It's Daniel Allison, the average dude, and Jenny Winny, my cousin, ready to meet a great business owner.
Hold this so that I'm actually in it.
Yeah, there you go.
How about that?
So what's happened is we've shown up here on location. We had a very short period of time to get set up, but we're so glad to be here. We're so glad that you joined us. We're going to introduce you to, again, a new business owner in the area this morning. And the Flower Bar right here in Spartanburg is where we are.
Well, this is what
Jenny,
I said. I'm excited because I was like, flowers, we love flowers.
Yeah.
Bars, love bars.
Yeah.
So if you put a flower bar, that's got to be like Disney World came to Spartanburg.
Absolutely.
So, and just since Daniel didn't mention it, I did live through COVID since he wasn't that concerned.
I was concerned, but I was more concerned about doing the show this
I know,
week.
you were like, I don't know, I'm kind of got this cough due to cold, you know,
Yeah.
and you were like, yeah, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, and she did. She's here, and she's glad that she's here.
I'm glad I'm here. You're glad I'm here
that
because otherwise we wouldn't have a show going right now.
We
Because he's
wouldn't.
like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, it was last week. We had 10 minutes. We've never set up on site before. We got it done, and that's what it's all about: trying new things and having fun, right?
Yep.
So let's do this. Let's go ahead.
I'm gonna let you walk around.
Let's do this. Let's bring in the star of the show today. Hey, it's Melissa. Melissa, you want to introduce yourself?
I am Melissa. I own the flower bar. I've actually been doing flowers for about 22 years, but I was a luxury event designer, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Not just Jenny, it hit like the whole world.
Right. It hit the whole world, and Jenny's going to set us up where we can sit down here in a second. But what I'd like to do, Melissa, if you can just show us around this space. It's an unbelievable space, and to let folks know where we are, we're at the corner of
Main and Pine.
The corner of Main and Pine. Across the way, we've got, what's the Skillet. Everybody knows where the Skillet is.
Yep. So we're in the new UCB building.
Yes.
Where UCB built that beautiful, like, magazine worthy. If you haven't been in the bank, it's gorgeous.
Absolutely. And look at these high ceilings and the space. So let's start over here at the bar.
Sure.
And you can show us and kind of tell us what makes the Flower Bar different than other places we may have seen.
Well, I don't know that anybody has ever come up with the concept before, but you're fine. Kind of like what I was saying before, that once COVID hit and I didn't have very many events to do, my husband, who could not be here with us today, Rob,
yes.
He told me I should open a flower shop, and I fought it tooth and nail because I had spent 20 years building this reputation for luxury events and weddings, and I didn't want people to think I was doing balloons and teddy bears, and then not call me anymore to do their luxury events. And so our home in Rock Hill, there was a plaza and a storefront that had been empty ever since I moved there in 2011. And so I said I would open it under one condition, and that was that it could be an interactive flower shop where people could come in with me, that they could design with me, we could do workshops together, we could showcase local farms and what they're growing. 2000, I can't even remember what year it was, 17, 18, I actually got invited to do flowers for the First Lady, and the entire event in DC was sponsored by Certified American Grown Farms.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, that's cool. So she had a passion.
Correct.
There's Judy Weed backstage there. Look at that. She's doing a great job. So you took a passion, passion for flowers, and then you turned it into a business.
Correct. Well, and so I had the business as What's Up Buttercup and Event Florals, and then this was just a very unique concept. And so my love of flowers traces all the way back to my childhood and being on my grandparents' farm in eastern North Carolina. And I'd go pick flowers with my grandma, we'd put them on the table, and then I'd ride in the back of the Ford truck to go feed the cows, because my granddad always had a Ford truck. And so when we kind of came up with this concept, and I knew that I wanted to bring awareness to the community about local farms and how important they were to our economy, I told my husband that we had to have a Ford truck bed in every store. So there is a Ford truck bed in every one of our locations. This is actually our third location. Fourth location is scheduled to open before the end of the year in Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Okay.
But it's just it's a space that it's a pretty space, right? First of all, it's full of plants, it's full of flowers.
Absolutely. Sitting areas.
Oh yeah. Soft seating areas, bar. And so the concept was originally just interactive flower bar, kind of like group therapy. Everybody comes in, they design flowers, they drink wine. But at the time, we didn't have the beer and wine license. And so we kind of got that bright idea that people would stick around longer and do more workshops and play with more flowers if they had something to drink. So last summer, right? Last summer, we went through all of the hoops to get the beer and wine license, and then it just kind of took a life of its own. So it is still it's a full service flower shop, so you can still order birthday arrangements and sympathy arrangements and stuff like that. But it's also an interactive shop where you can come in and piece stuff together. We're getting to the point, we're still, because we were in such a push to get this place open, we are having our flower cooler built, which should be completed in another month or so. And it's going to be a very European style glass where you can see everything that we're using and actually pick stuff out that you want to go into your arrangements.
And is that what you're doing at the other stores? You've got these
and we've got a grab and
and
where you come in and get an arrangement if you need one.
You're glitchy. So come on over.
Okay.
I want to yeah, all right, Jenny. Kill mine.
I do.
Kill me. There she is.
Here I are.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
First, I just
Melissa,
let me
you want
just turn
to
this
sit
on.
down next to her?
Yeah.
I would like to address the fact that everybody said that what is Jenny Winny not here? You know what I mean? They're like, what is the show without Jenny Winny?
Yeah, absolutely. I understand.
I had to turn that off because it was glitchy. Daniel was glitchy, and listen, I can't help you unless I didn't bring my question mark or anything, so I had to improvise. Everybody, they were just going to, and I'm like, okay, hello, Jenny Winnie's still sitting over here, and I'm like, I'm going to break out the wine or something.
Well, we had to figure it out. We had to get the pacing down.
That's what I'm saying. Now, let me just give a little background on Melissa. I kind of grew up around her house a whole lot, and she's a little younger than me, but whatever, who cares?
Not that much.
Enough that she was in a crib when I'd go over and spend the night with her sister.
Yeah.
And she's like, water. Juice. It was juice. Yeah. Juice. And they were like, her mom, everybody's like, you gotta leave her in the crib. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, come on. And she'd just lay her head down, and I was like, oh, she loves me. And I was like, one day you're gonna open a flower bar. That's how that started.
And that's here. We're here today because that's happening.
Jenny planted the seed early.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Hey, Jonathan, you still getting the feedback? Let me know.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure.
Any feedback or can you hear us? That would also be a great question because I'm having trouble hearing us.
You are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm having trouble hearing you, and I'm sitting next to you.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're just going to wing it.
Never heard that before.
I've never heard. I'm already here.
Had a hard time hearing.
Okay, yeah, Jonathan, let me know though.
So I would like to go ahead and roll into a little bit more of some of the things that make this different. I'm not used to walking into a bar and seeing the Slurpee machine. Can you tell us about those?
So, because the space was so interactive and fun and creative, we also knew that we didn't want to create a pretentious wine bar. Because if anybody's been into a wine bar, I didn't grow up that way, but I have been. I mean, my dad drank Jack and Ginger, but so
not a big wine guy.
Yeah.
I will also say,
right.
just the echoes because of the space. Yes, we're hello.
Yeah, those big high ceilings.
Yeah.
And so we knew that we wanted this to be a creative feel, even with the drinks, right? Most people that I grew up around who might not have spent a lot of time in these pretentious wine bars didn't come out with like a War and Peace book of wine where you've got to choose a cab from a particular region of the country that like from a particular year. And so we started thinking about how do we make it fun and how do we make it creative? And so at the time, I think wine slushies and frosés were kind of like just coming onto the scene. And I was like, but I want it to be more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, and how do we incorporate flowers and botanicals?
Because that's
the flower bar, right?
That's your thing is the flowers.
And so we started playing around with some different stuff, different flavors, different things. And so basically what we decided was that let everybody create their own flavor of wine slushie. And so in all of the locations, we currently have 4 machines. One is a wine margarita that you would swear there's tequila in, but we do not have a liquor license. So it is all wine-based products currently. There is a wine margarita, there is a rosé, a white, and a red. And so after you pick your base, which is one of those four, you can add a fruit. I can't remember how many fruits there are, but there's probably
We're going to
12
go
or
look
15.
here in a minute.
I know all in all, there's like 480 plus different combinations of flavors that you can do. And so after you pick your base and you pick your fruit, then you pick your essence. And the essence is a house-infused simple syrup. So it's just a simple syrup that's been infused with a flower or plant, something botanical. For instance, hibiscus or elderflower or lavender or mint or basil or anything that's botanical. And so you really can kind of come up with any flavor. And because sometimes it's a little overwhelming if anybody's ever been to the Cheesecake Factory and they give you like a 32-page menu, it takes you an hour to make a decision. We've had a lot of folks stand at this thing and go, I don't know what pairs well.
They're like,
So
wait
we
a
also
second,
have
where is the Boone's Farm?
Yeah, exactly. So we have some of like the fan faves, the staff faves, and they are named after our flower pun t-shirts. So we have a slew of t-shirts that's, kiss my hibiscus or got my big girl peonies on. Or,
I like it.
Sometimes I wet my plants or.
Sometimes I'll wet my
Right.
Or we could just name one like Jenny, Winny, and the Average Dude.
Yeah, we need to come up with
Yeah, we need to start working together.
Yeah.
We'll call
So,
it Juice.
so what was it about Spartanburg? We know that you're from Spartanburg.
Yes,
What was it that made Spartanburg attractive to as a place to open up? Because this is your larger location, right?
Yes and no. It feels larger because it has
of the
these high
echoes.
ceilings.
Yeah.
But
Wait a minute, y'all. Jonathan said, he said, my wife would take all night to pick from that many options.
correct. Yeah. And not to, I myself, women, sometimes when you give us a lot of choices, it takes us a minute, right? If you tell us it's your specials tonight are chicken or steak, and we can say in 2 seconds, don't want chicken. But if you tell us that there's 17 specials, then we want to know exactly how.
And then there's like
prepared.
10 different kinds of steak.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we helped everybody out and showcased some of the combinations that people love. And we made it easy by, the t-shirts having the flower puns on them. It was just a good, connection. But that's kind of the cool thing now. As the weather is getting chillier, some people might not want the wine slushy. We do still have still wines by the glass, by the bottle. And we have wine cocktails. We're breaking those out just kind of as another play on giving it sort of that bar vibe, but not violating our liquor license.
Getting creative with that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we currently have 4 signature drinks. I'm not even sure if they're, they are. There's a Morning Glory, which is very similar to a blueberry lavender lemonade. It's made with a wine vodka product.
Oh, I love that lavender.
Yeah, it's really good. And then there is a Magnolia Blossom, which is actually made from magnolia blooms here in Spartanburg because they were from my parents' tree. So from our family to yours, Magnolia Blossom.
Their family's giving back to the community. Okay.
Giving back to the community with their Magnolia Blossoms, which traditional, I think I did some research on it, and like Magnolia Blossoms were used in ancient Chinese medicine for thousands of years. Like they have a ton of healing properties. A lot of plants and flowers do, if you just know.
So that is what we're supposed to do is, it's medicinal. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that magnolia, hey, wine slushy. That sounds awesome.
Yes,
Jonathan
they
said.
are. They are amazing. I think within our first 3 months, we sold something like close to 10,000 of them. Like
10,000.
It's ridiculous. They're so good, and nobody does them like the way that we do them. But
So, Jonathan, bring your wife, come out and
Bring your
try the wine
friends.
slushy. That would make this a success. That's what it's all about,
Yeah.
getting folks that aren't familiar with places like this to come out and try it. So I know Jonathan, great dude. We'd love to have y'all come in and try to make sure you say hello to Melissa when you come.
And the space is like so pretty that people are oftentimes like, hey, can I use the space for my wife's birthday? Or can I use the space
So
for
you
a
rent it out
bachelorette
for
party?
like events.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Matter of fact,
awesome.
I'll be back here Saturday at 4 to teach a flower arranging workshop. So anybody that wants to come learn how to make a flower arrangement and try some wine slushies. We did just start doing wine slushy flights where you can taste 4 different flavors kind of at once, so that you're not having to pick a 9 or a 12 ounce to
And then you're like,
flavors.
you're committed.
Right, exactly.
Well, there's so many different things. I love it because you took something that's a passion of yours.
Yes.
You took flowers. That was that original thing. And it's something that's talked a lot about on LinkedIn and social media in general is, go with your passion, go with what you love, and then from that passion and that love, it starts to spider web out into other things.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like you were the flower guru in my mind for. That's what you did, weddings and like estates, and you'd set up all these, just, like people just have flowers all the time.
And again, she mentioned that it was something that started from a young age. And how often do we hear that? Whatever that thing that keeps pulling you back, a lot of times behind that, there's
But I mean,
more.
to incorporate the things together, because it's like, if you narrowed yourself down to just flowers, you're missing an opportunity here with the.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
And for a long time, my background's actually finance.
Mm-hmm.
I went to work for Bank of America after I graduated high school, and then I worked for an insurance brokerage and taught sales and franchising all over the country. And so I came to that kind of crossroads in 2016 when I was going through a course, and I was like, do I keep going with finance, or do I pursue this thing, this hobby, this passion that's just always brought me joy?
Yeah.
And so I took the leap of faith.
Ding, ding, ding. That's what we always are talking about, isn't it?
Yeah,
Always.
absolutely.
We're like, what made you do it? And it's like, was it instantly a success, or did you just have to go, what in the world did I do?
Yeah, a little of both. Just to be perfectly honest, I was scared to death because I had just moved to Rock Hill. I hadn't been there that long, so I didn't have a huge network or a huge following, but I was taking this leap of faith. And within that first 12 months, just doing flowers, I hit, 6 figures in sales by myself as a single mom, and my work was featured on the cover of 2 Carolina Bride magazines. I got invited to Greece to do flowers for a wedding gown designer. I got invited to do flowers for the First Lady, and so
for the First Lady.
Yeah, so it's almost like the universe was like, this is where you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to be doing, and then. For a long time, I felt that way. Like, this is what I was meant to do. I was meant to do flowers, and I was meant to, design things, even though I, at the time, didn't really consider myself a creative. But then COVID changed the world. Somebody ate a bat, and then, or so they say, and it changed the whole world. And so the flower bar was actually just sort of born out of necessity more so than anything else. Yes, I still did weddings, but they went from 300-person weddings to 30-person weddings. You see what I'm saying? And some,
true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so some people will be like, okay, we're going to have a very small, intimate ceremony, and then we're going to have a party next year.
And you didn't have to have all of the flowers, because it's like a lot of the weddings were on Zoom, and it's like, hey, we just need one thing right there.
Now, interestingly, that when you have these smaller groups, you probably have you seen that now that we're coming out of COVID, you're getting the bigger numbers, and the people that you did a good job for, is that growing in more business?
It is. I mean, the thing is, in theory, you don't get a lot of repeat wedding business. I mean, if you do it right the first time. But,
Daniel's like, so how many repeat customers?
Right.
No, I guess that word.
So her lawyer is going to be the flower bar legal firm.
Right, exactly.
That's one more thing you could add.
You can add something to it.
Yeah, over in the corner, it's.
So when that don't work out, go over there.
Yeah, so now you're doing the passion, but there's also this business side of it. You spoke a little bit to that, but there's a lot going on now. You said this is your 3rd location? Correct.
And then Fort Mill will be our 4th location this year, actually. So we opened Lake Wiley about 4 months ago. It's really, I think it's just a really beautiful space for people to come in, and it's a safe space. Like, it's a very, we cater to everybody, right? Like, husbands come in here all the time, guys come in here all the time, but there's a lot of things that are very lady driven. Just like Jenny, when he walked in and said, you have hairspray, I'm like, every bathroom, hairspray, dry shampoo. Like, this is a ladies, like, of course we do. And so it's just a welcoming space. It's a safe environment because we don't have liquor. We don't have to worry about sort of that late night crowd. And, we don't have TVs to maybe we should, because we're in the South and like college football is the thing.
That's true.
There's a lot of ladies who love college football.
Maybe one TV.
Right. Yeah.
One TV.
During football season.
Yeah.
Maybe. Still considering. But, we don't have a kitchen, although we are working with a restaurateur in Rock Hill who's coming up with a simple menu for us to have like not finger foods, but like a tapas small plate kind of style.
I like that. Yeah.
There will be some food options, but as of right now, we allow you to bring food in from wherever you
that's
choose.
good.
Yeah. I mean,
that's great.
Yeah. So this particular location, obviously, Chicken Salad Chick and Moe's have been great. Our Rock Hill location, we have a town tavern next door that runs food over. Our Lake Wiley location has a local bar bar and grill behind it that they run food over. So even for events, we let you bring food in. You know, we just ask that you not prepare it here, so you're not like hooking up the fryers and the waffle irons and the grills and everything like that could potentially cause an issue. But
so we don't need to roll in the grill and start like doing hamburgers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
So can husbands or men, boyfriends, whatever, come in and just like tell you kind of what they like and design their own arrangement for their wife? Mm-hmm. See, that would be really cool.
We got our certificate of occupancy for this space on Wednesday and did our grand opening on Friday.
Wow.
Because the grand opening was already scheduled. Obviously, you know, you always run into 500 problems, but we were like legal to open on Wednesday. Therefore, the flower cooler is in the process of getting built in, or the European flower room. Mm-hmm. So right now, that whole daytime flower arranging thing, it's just not here yet, but it's coming.
Gotcha.
And so, yes, you will have the option to see the blooms that we have, be able to work with, you know, either put it together yourself or work with somebody to put it
like
together.
You could pick out like, oh, my wife loves this and this and this.
Correct. Hydrangeas or lilies or roses or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I will say too, because you know, events are still a huge part of the overall business of What's Up Buttercup, which is my parent company.
Yes.
And the event design. And so a lot of the flowers that you will see in the flower bars are not your traditional like standard roses, babies, breath, acres, fern. It's a lot of high-end flowers because that's what we're using for weddings.
Gotcha.
And we kind of overflow those to the flower bars, and that's what the arrangements that go out for birthday, sympathy, like whatever. They've got these really gorgeous,
these nice flowers.
Exactly.
Well, with these multiple locations, does it become more difficult, or does it become
that's what I was
easier
wondering
to run? In my mind, having multiple locations, all this stuff going on, it would be a lot.
I mean, it does present a challenge, especially for the fact that Rob and I are, we're a blended family. So together we have 5 kids. And, you know, I still have my wedding business, which last year was,
I understand the bar part now.
Yes. So I've done flowers for 20 years and Rob has drank for about that 20 years. And so we decided to kind of combine what we knew. Yeah.
Wonder powers.
And then it gives us an excuse to drink during the day because we are here.
You gotta
taste
be
drinking.
ready.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does that, you and Rob, how did y'all come together? How would you say that relationship helped this all come together? Would you say there was?
I mean, Rob has a lot of background in building culture and marketing and working for corporate America. He's a former Marine, and he's got a lot of drive. Whereas I'm the analyzer. I'm the numbers. Even though I'm still a creative, which is an anomaly.
Yeah, it is.
That is.
I like anomalies.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I need to study the numbers and figure out like what's going on. He's like, no, we're going to jump and build our wings on the way down. Like, we're going to figure this out,
I love that
that's good that you have somebody like that, but also it's kind of like, see, I'm in business with my mom. She's like that. Yeah. She's like, let's get it all. And I'm kind of like, no. No.
And I think part of that too is just coming from weddings, right? So last year I did 77 weddings, in addition to the flower.
I want to make sure that 77 weddings.
We need to mention too here that
there's 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Jonathan's offering his services too, I think, because he can do the wedding ceremony.
There you go. Hey, first, Jonathan, you got to come up here and have a glass of wine and then talk about what you can do here.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
And so, as a single mom, when I was, wedding season in the Carolinas is very sort of like spring, kind of get a break in the summer because it's too hot.
And then everybody goes to like October.
And then October, is crazy. And so to fill in sort of the gap, I started subcontracting to do holiday decor. And then that kind of blossomed into its own little, it's called What the Elf. And so we do full service holiday decor for residences and businesses. We do the whole roof line lighting and decorating the trees and the garlands, which kind of comes into play with everything I was already doing with floral design.
Yeah.
If I'm making garland for a wedding, it's really no different than making garlands.
See, I have a question about that, because this is just, how we always want to learn.
Yeah.
So, it's like in my mind, I would be, I'm not looking at y'all. I'm going to have to look this way. Okay.
It's tough.
It is. The dynamics here are just, but
it's a learning experience, and I'm grateful for it.
And Daniel's grateful for me today.
I'm grateful for it always.
But, I would be sitting there going, okay, will people pay for these services? Because that's kind of like I don't know what, like a a plush thing that's not a necessity.
is.
You know what I mean? Like
It
if you
is.
want flowers for your wedding, you're like, I can justify it. And see, I always think those things. I go, would they pay for it?
Yes.
See,
So here's the situation, right? Like there's a lot of people in this world that just absolutely adore the holidays, but they hate all the work that's involved with it, like takes the joy out of it, right? And so if you can make a phone call and somebody literally comes in and designs everything related to what your house or your business should look like for the holidays, and then comes in after the holiday, because that's another service
take
that
it down.
we clean it up. We do an off-site storage. You call us the next year, we come back and put it all
That's
together.
a really neat business idea. I like
You know,
that.
and so literally people make a phone call, they come home from work and their house is decorated for Christmas. And
Yeah.
they make another phone call and they come home and it's all cleaned up and packed up.
Wow.
And so that
Yeah.
allows them the time and the energy to enjoy the season, to enjoy their family, to enjoy. Same thing with weddings, honestly, though, Jenny. It's kind of the same principle.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I could do my flowers myself. I could go to the farmer's market. You can. It's not rocket science. Flowers are beautiful in and of themselves, right? It's hard to mess them up.
it's
However,
the work.
it's the work involved. And that's how kind of I got my start even doing this. Was I was a DIY bride 20 years ago, and I realized very quickly that you have about a 48 to 72 hour window of working with these fresh flowers prior
they
to
start
your
looking-
event.
Oh, okay, this is good info.
Yeah,
Now-
and so then you've got your manicure all messed up because your fingers are stained green
Yeah.
from the chlorophyll, and you've been up late at night, and your flower, like this flower's dying because you didn't do it right, or it wasn't processed correctly, and so you've missed all the family that's coming in. to
Yeah,
spend
you're
time
just
with
stressed
you.
out about.
Mhm.
Yep.
So just thinking about the difference from a professional, someone that is a professional, or someone that's a DIY, is it that attention to detail? What is the
It's-
differentiator?
it's a lot
Their
of
experience and the
things.
look and the
It's a
eye?
lot.
Oh, I mean, and I would say the stress of it,
Yeah.
honestly, is like what she's saying. I've,
Oh, yeah.
I've watched her work
Yeah.
behind the scenes, and it's not
Yeah.
for the faint of heart.
No,
And it's
Okay.
like, but so
What does that look like? I mean,
Well,
what
I
did
mean,
you see?
literally,
everybody
When-
thinks it's a very glamorous job.
when she, I will say that when she first started doing some weddings and stuff,
Yeah.
my son-in-law, his father was getting remarried with Lance, and she came out, she saved the day. It was short, and she comes with all these buckets, just bucket after like paint buckets full of flowers. She worked herself to death in their garage.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah.
mean, cutting.
And this was a small affair. It
It was
it's not
small,
like
but it was big
Yeah,
arrangements, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy moly!" Now, if she had done that, then
Yeah.
what are they gonna do?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot to be said for, especially for somebody that'll come back and look. You got a visitor.
I hear his little bell.
Oh.
She
I
has
thought
a little
I thought it was
puppy.
a quarter
It's a
rolling my
kitten.
way.
Oh,
We've got a little
I thought-
audience.
I do
We're
have
not by
dogs, too.
ourselves today, so that's
Yeah.
always fun.
My parents are over there and the manager, the store
Yeah,
manager,
yeah,
Kaylee. So we'll let everybody.
but
know.
yeah, I just think that there's a lot to be said for that because people don't want the hassle of having to clean up. And really, Daniel, I mean, it's hard for you to understand that because you're a man, and
Yeah.
the men usually are the ones behind the
What
scenes.
is that supposed to mean?
Putting
We
everything
understand
together.
things.
Well,
It
but
makes it does make a lot
But
of sense.
also, like, think in terms of just a dinner party, right?
Mhm.
So you're having people over to your house. How crazy do you drive yourself cleaning your house, making sure you've got all the grocery shopping done, preparing
Yes.
the food, and then you know what? It's all over, and your house is a disaster. There's food everywhere. Like people would
Preaching
probably
to the choir.
people
Oh,
would
my
probably
gosh.
entertain family and friends a lot more often if it wasn't so much work. Right?
If you didn't
And
have
so
to feel like you
draining.
had right.
Yeah.
So if you can hire someone, again, kind of like not just with the wedding thing, but also like the holiday thing. If you can make that phone call and you come home and it's all done, and then you make that phone call and you come home and it's all packed away. like,
Yeah.
It's kind of like
How much
hiring
less
somebody to
stress
clean
is
your
that?
house. It's like I
Yeah.
always love coming home and it's just clean.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
and I know that is a headache for people. I can imagine how much stress that would relieve. And
We rescued
we have
you
a,
next one,
unfortunately, we had some
Yes,
help to
yes,
get the cat out. But
She also rescues animals.
Yes, on the
side.
side, you know, when I have nothing else to do.
When she wants to
Yeah,
do something
right.
like humanitarian, you know, she just grabs a little kitten off the street.
Well, I love the entrepreneur spirit.
I do
love the variety of things that one passion kind of turned into that accumulated
And I'm
knowledge over
envious
time.
of just you just saying like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And just like,
Oh yeah, build
That's
your wings
not
on the
all
way
me.
down. Is what she said.
That's not, yeah, it's a
Good
jump
job.
and build your wings on the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
down. That's
I like
not
that.
all me, right? But sometimes you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you just,
Yeah. Yeah,
that make sense?
absolutely.
And sometimes you jump before the life raft is prepared. You know,
You're like,
Well, that's
somebody
what we're
better
doing
get to
here.
blowing that thing up. Yeah,
Right.
like,
Quite honestly,
this
that's
is
what's
our
happening.
life raft. It
Yeah,
hardly even got blown up today.
You've got to do the. You've got to take the first step. I like that. You don't see the whole staircase. We
I
know
had,
that.
this was not part of the plan.
And
Yeah.
if you don't make the step, it's not going to happen.
What
anyway.
wasn't part of the plan?
The flower bar.
Oh, okay.
This was never like
Yeah.
something. It was born out of necessity. I don't know how else.
I
to
think
say
it's a
it.
great
Mhm.
concept.
And it
Yeah.
evolved.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, I mean, come on, everybody loves flowers. Girls love flowers. And
Guys love happy girls.
Yes.
That's-
If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody
there
happy.
nobody has.
how
And that's what, I mean, there's nothing better though than to have like fresh flowers in your house. Really. I mean, even for like us that don't know how to do it, going to the grocery store and throwing them in a vase or whatever. So, but I can imagine, come here with your girlfriends, hang out,
Take a workshop so you can learn how to
do
It's a
it. But
workshop.
then you take it, and then you have a flower arrangement to take home. It's not
Yep.
like you just sat around and did nothing.
Well, it's a lot like the whole paint and sip concept. People will go, they'll come in, they'll paint a picture, they'll go home, and sometimes those pictures like wind up in a closet. It doesn't really go with their decor. They had fun, right?
Yeah.
It's a great
Yes.
experience, but it wasn't really something that was super useful. Although people still love paint and sip, and we still do paint and sip. I don't teach the painting classes. I'll teach you flowers, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
put a paintbrush in my hand. You will regret
Well,
that decision.
at least there's one thing you can't
Yeah.
do. You know?
Yeah, my
Thank
art
goodness.
is okay. It's an experience overall. I mean, that's kind of what we wanted to create for people, even in our Rock Hill location. And I think Spartanburg is very similar. All walks of life come in.
Yeah.
And you might come in as strangers, but by the time you leave, and you're leaving as
Yeah.
friends because you're having conversations with people. You're not distracted by TVs, and I don't know how many times I've gone to dinner and seen an entire family, kids included, on a phone, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not talking
Oh,
to
gosh.
each other, and that whole art of conversation is just lost,
Yeah.
right, in the technology age.
Absolutely.
And I think too that like this would be a good safe place for like women. Like, say you want to have a girls' night out,
absolutely,
and you don't want to go to the movies or just go to a
because you're
dinner.
not talking.
You're not talking to anybody. But here, it's like you're not. It would make my husband feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Because you're not out at a bar.
Yeah.
And so then you can just have like a great little night out with your girlfriends, have some wine. I think it's a great concept.
And to be fair, guys learn some skills too. I mean, honestly, there have been some husbands that have come in and watched and
Wow.
done workshops, and then they can put things together for their wives too,
Oh,
or their
wow.
significant other.
That
You know
becomes
what I mean?
meaningful.
Now, I'll
Absolutely.
tell you what.
That shows some effort on the part of the
Oh,
dude.
Daniel.
There's a brother.
I was going for it because I was going to say, if husband came home and he didn't just have to rip off that $7.98 sticker off that Ingles
Or
flower.
whatever it is.
Yeah, and then it's like, I
Yeah.
made this for you.
Oh, yeah. Put a little something into it.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I can't remember. It's probably been a couple months now, but Rob will sit and he will tell you that he does, and he's colorblind, so color choices and it just his brain doesn't function that way.
Yeah.
He's a doer. He goes out and gets it. But he went into the shop one day when I wasn't there, and one of my associate designers worked with him. He built a flower arrangement for me to try to
Oh.
show that he could do, that he wanted to help, that he wanted to be able to do this too.
Wow.
And
Brownie points.
well, see, and when we first met, I was like, look, when you screw up, because it's inevitable, right? Like, do not buy me flowers.
Yeah.
Do not. I was like, you can buy me shoes, you can buy me pocketbooks, you can buy me chocolate.
Oh,
buy
wow.
me
Do not buy me
alcohol.
flowers.
Do not buy me flowers.
Do not
That's
buy me-
all I do all day,
Yep.
every day for 20 years, because all I'm gonna do is critique it anyway.
Yeah.
You're like,
critique.
where did
And
this?
probably fix it.
You're like, this is awful. I was like, this was an award-winning artist.
I love that. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And so, but the fact that
He made that
did-
effort to try.
And he hadn't messed up. This was just out of.
Yeah,
He
he
was just
was
doing
like-
good.
He was like, I want to show her that, like, I want to help.
Did
I
you-
want to
he-
do more than just deliver the
Yeah.
flowers that she makes to people and help her with weddings. I want to show her that I'm like
Willing to learn.
invested.
And, yeah.
And
I love that.
My husband came down to the boutique, and he dressed a mannequin. And
Did he?
yeah, and I was like, that is so good.
How did it turn out?
Well, I changed it as soon as he left, but I appreciated the effort.
Appreciated that.
And he's like, I bet that sold right away. I was like, it sure did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wait a
Yeah, it's
minute.
the effort
sold
that
so
counts.
quick.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
look, see, Jonathan said ripping off that $7.99 sticker. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, and then you get that 2
And-
for
and
$9.99.
I wonder if Jonathan bought those. Did he buy the flowers because he messed up or because he wanted to do a good thing? You know, that'd be
Because he was thinking.
Well,
yeah.
now,
That's-
but I'm
I
telling
would
you.
say do those nice things just to do the nice things,
Well,
right?
okay, and I love flowers. And, I would travel to Atlanta all the time for market. Literally every single time I checked into the hotel, the Westin, they knew it was us. My husband had flowers in my room every single time.
I've seen some of those pictures.
Every single time.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I didn't know
everybody's
that,
like,
Jenny.
why? And then, so he's like, I was like, it wasn't a surprise anymore. Yeah, you
I
can
know. I need to be on
And
LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn guy. I love my LinkedIn.
He knew what restaurant I ate at. He had them delivered to my table.
Yeah.
Y'all need to take some lessons here, and she's going to help. Okay, she's going to help y'all
Yeah.
get in good here with your wives. Oh, wait a minute, Jonathan said both.
So he does
yeah.
it for both.
Hey, well,
That's good,
I love his
Jonathan.
honesty. He's a minister. He has to be honest. That's
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what though? We have guys that come into the flower shop and they'll be like, "I need flowers," and it's always last minute. They never pre-order anything. It's either because they were thinking, "I just want to get my wife something nice,
Yeah.
or I want to do whatever,"
Yeah.
or it's because they screwed up. And then it's like, okay, well, how big are we talking? Like, how much are we going to try to spend on these
Yeah.
flowers
Now,
out
you've
back?
been, sorry to interrupt here, but I just had one pop in my head. You've been to a lot of different weddings. You've seen a lot of different things. Tell us about maybe a wedding that sticks out in your mind for maybe good reasons. Maybe is there anything that happened? Any of
Like a learning curve. Almost like,
yeah. Is there? I mean, you've probably seen a lot of. I mean, don't they have a show about people putting weddings on? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I could literally probably write a book on
Yeah.
all the things that I've seen that have gone wrong and gone really well.
yeah, I bet.
As far, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another show.
It is.
Yeah, we'll
It
have to dig deeper. I'm
It's,
expecting that book, and that book should be
I
right
really
here.
should.
So we
I
can
really-
all
and
read
it's
it.
not just me.
It'll
I
be
mean,
like
every-
a coffee table book.
Yeah.
Anybody that's been in the events industry for more than a day is going to have some crazy stories. But
Mhm.
we've had some experiences where we were able to create something really unique, right? Like good experiences. Like I had a bride who her mother was Native American, and they were getting married in an art museum on New Year's Eve, and we just kept kind of going back and forth on style. And I said, I think I have an idea that could work for your backdrop. And so I went out and I purchased this 8-foot hoop, and I created this giant dream catcher.
I was going to say, was it
That I literally was like a spider and spun this web of fishing line, and then we floated all these white calla lilies inside.
Did she love it?
Oh my God, they her and mom cried when they saw it.
That's
Because it
awesome.
had never been done before, but it was just kind of like this unique concept that we came up with. Now, on the flip side of the equation, I have had weddings where anything and everything, has gone wrong. And
On your end or on the wedding end?
kind of all.
Yeah.
You're working with a fresh product. You're working sometimes outside in the heat, in the elements, the wind, like
Oh, wow.
rain.
Yeah.
And like Jonathan just said, Broadzillas.
I will, Jonathan. Let me just tell you.
That's what I was thinking, Jonathan, the Bridezilla.
Yeah, I know, but Daniel didn't want to say it.
I was
have
going to let
been-
her say
I
it.
have been very, very blessed in the fact that I have never had a bride that I consider to be a bridezilla. Moms, on the other hand, are a completely different story. Either moms of the bride or moms of the groom.
Oh,
They
no.
have an opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're paying,
Mhm.
and their and
And it should be, I know, and it should be the bride's choice. And then
it's her day.
it is. And then, the mama goes in there and says, but I'm putting out the money.
So here's the
Correct.
question: how do we handle this sort of thing? If we have a bridezilla, how do you attack a bride?
I really,
She hadn't had one.
I really
or
don't
not a
have
bride. I
one.
just mean a difficult person.
She had a mother-in-law.
Yeah, a
They're
mother-in-law.
all mother-in-law zillas. to
Yeah,
some extent.
mother-in-law zillas.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, if this is somebody's first wedding, right, and they're 25, 28 years old, they probably don't know 300 people that they want to buy food and alcohol for.
Yeah.
The 300 people that are getting invited are all mom and dad's friends,
It's
from the
true.
country club, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a big impression to make, right?
Yeah.
So,
You have to invite so-and-so. That's
Yeah.
my best friend.
right, and they're like, haven't seen this kid
I love
since
the
they were
voice
in the
change.
crib.
She's my best friend.
They haven't seen this kid since they were in a crib drinking
Yeah,
juice,
I know.
right?
I'm like,
Which is not the case. I've seen
I've seen her too.
But I'm just saying, sometimes it's the parents that really push for things
Mhm.
that aren't necessarily what the bride and groom want. But, you know, we were talking about like the good experience. I had an experience. I've had probably a grand total of about 10 weddings in the last 20 years that I had to plan and execute within a week. And I'm not talking elopements. I'm talking big weddings where
Wow.
they just
How
didn't
did you
book
do that?
flowers.
Yeah.
Oh, and
And
you
so,
don't say no.
I don't, and that's what gets me in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
But sometimes you like being, do you work good
I
under
kinda like the
pressure?
challenge.
Yeah, you like the challenge and the
Yeah.
pressure, and it sounded like you got really creative when you needed
It's
to.
kind of like when somebody's coming over to your house at the last second and it's not clean.
Oh gosh.
I
Yeah.
can clean up real quick.
Oh, I bet you can.
And to be fair, like if you think in terms of cooking, right? There's a lot of folks out there that can follow a recipe
Mhm.
and make a decent edible dinner, right? And there's some folks that you go to their house and like, this is so amazing, I want the recipe. And I don't use one. I just threw some stuff together, right?
Yeah.
And so,
That's not me, okay?
Definitely.
Not me.
but it's kind of like that with flowers. There's a lot of designers out there who will build really beautiful things, but they have to have a recipe. They have to be like, okay, I need this much greenery, I need this much
Yes.
this many this. And so because
Yes.
that I'm not that designer and I've never really worked off of a recipe, I always, and I present this with all of my clients, I always tell them, I'm going to shop for 2 weeks prior to your wedding. I'm going to shop for what's in season, what's local, and what the most beautiful blooms are in your color palette, your
Yes.
aesthetic to pull off this wedding. And that's how we wind up with such beautiful
Yeah, because
designs.
it might be,
Yeah.
they're like, but I love it. I love this
Oh,
flower.
yeah.
And you're like, well, that's fine, but it doesn't bloom here at all.
Correct. Peonies, for
Yeah.
example. It's a
The
huge
Daniel's like, yes, peony.
No. What just, I'm not even sure about the flower name. I'm not familiar with those. That being said, what I see now is how you differentiate yourself from
Correct.
someone being able to, as you
Mhm.
said,
use a recipe.
not use a recipe or use a recipe. That's a big deal. And
It is.
going with what you see and going and finding the right flowers. And then, like you say, flowers are beautiful. You
Right.
Yeah, they are,
but
but they're not always all available every season.
That's
Right.
right.
And so it's like if the recipe calls for, a hydrangea, I'm
I
just saying.
learned that lesson very, very
You know what I'm
well.
saying?
Yeah.
It's like, and
Not
I
to
will tell you
promise.
something that Melissa taught me. Hydrangea starts off with hydra, which means they need water.
Yes.
Ah,
And they actually are one of the few flowers that drink from their petals.
See?
If you ever have a sad hydrangea, you can take it out and dunk it upside
they
down
drink
in
from
cold
their
water
petals. That's so
for
cool.
about 20 minutes, recut it, put it in, and it'll perk
I
right
did.
back up.
I want
that will
another
always
cool
stay
flower
with
fact.
me.
Do you have any more like
Oh
Wasn't
my
that
God.
cool?
Another
What?
one.
I said that was cool.
That was. I want
and then she
another
taught me that like years and years ago. She's like, hydrangea mean hydra.
Hydrate.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like hydrate.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that prop plane episode we did. You
No,
know?
let's not bring that.
Okay. Don't bring it. Oh, Jonathan, he says, what would it have been like doing flowers for the First Lady? Did the Secret Services check all the flowers for bombs?
So,
Good question, John.
it's
Appreciate
very
you, man.
interesting. I actually even now have to be super careful about like how much information that I disclose, but there was a lot of documents. So it wasn't just me, right? It was a team of designers that were chosen to do the event. And we were not allowed to disclose where we were going. We were not allowed, we had to stay in a certain hotel. We had certain rooms that were checked, clearance, just like what he
Yeah.
was talking about.
Ooh.
We had, like, even before going in and setting up the rooms, to his point, the rooms were checked before we could go in. Yes, the flowers were checked prior to us working with them.
Wow. Yeah, I bet that was an
Just so
experience.
y'all know,
Yeah.
Jonathan, we did the same thing when we came in here. We checked everything out, make sure
Yeah.
it was good for us. Yeah.
You got a top-notch security.
I mean,
that
come
you
on,
didn't
yeah.
have to do.
Wow, that's something. Though.
It was pretty, again, we were not, I mean, like, even family, I was like, okay, I'm going to do flowers to an undisclosed location.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't.
I could
say,
tell
like,
you, but I'll have to kill you.
Right. I was like, I can tell you when I get back,
Yeah.
but I can't tell you.
That's cool.
That
Yeah,
makes
because
for
we
some
couldn't
great
disclose
stories.
where we were staying, where the event was being
Yes.
held. We couldn't say any of that. And so again, I've got like 1,500,000 stories about.
That's where the book comes in.
It really
Yeah.
does. Like I had a bride who didn't know who I was, and I'm standing there with her bouquet, with my What's Up Buttercup shirt on, and she didn't know who I was.
She's like, now, who are you with?
Yeah, she was just like spaced, and come
Yeah.
to find out at the end of and this was
Spaced.
this was like one of those
Yeah.
like last minute.
Yeah.
Like they booked me Monday, the wedding was Saturday, even though we'd been planning it before that, but they just never pulled the trigger. And it was Charleston. I was down in Charleston doing flowers, and she didn't know who I was. And I come to find out on my ride home, the photographer called and said that they'd had a little too much fun in the bridal suite getting ready, and that she'd taken out some Molly laced with Percocet.
Oh,
or something.
no.
So I don't even know if she knew she got married. To be honest with you, I don't. She knew who I
She's
was.
like, I do.
It would
Yeah,
be interesting
I do whatever.
to go back and find out how many weddings you've done where
Yeah, they're still together.
You know?
Ooh, that
To
would be
be
good.
fair, I used to send out anniversary cards.
Yeah, that might not be good.
And after a couple of years of sending out anniversary cards, I had to stop.
Really?
They're
Yeah,
like-
because of that
They're
Molly
like,
with
thank you for
Percocet.
bringing that. They're like, thank you for
Little
bringing
good.
that back up again.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, I have a question.
okay,
So
your question.
your like hours, or did you
Okay.
already discuss that?
No, we haven't.
Okay, I want to know like your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
location. Are they
So
all the same
locations.
hours?
Back to the flower bar.
Yeah.
Enough about weddings.
We
of course.
digress,
I
okay?
know, right? So the flower bar, ultimately, because you were asking originally about how do we manage these stores, right?
Yeah.
How do we? 'Cause Rob and I are only two people, right?
Mhm.
And so Kaylee, who is our very, very first hire when we opened up the flower bar, she told us prior to Christmas this past year that she was going to be moving to Spartanburg.
Mhm.
And we knew how valuable she was to our organization, and we kind of started
You're like, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
right.
Spartanburg.
So we found the space. The space was actually supposed to open in May, didn't open until September 9th.
Uh-huh.
But Kaylee is our manager here.
Okay.
And so between November and September, she drove back and forth to Rock Hill
Okay.
to work some of our other stores. So we were super excited to be able to hand the keys over to her because she knew everything
Mhm.
that we wanted, and she had helped us kind of build it from ground up. And so
Does each location have a manager?
to some extent, yes and no. The whole Rock Hill area, because that's the area
That's where
that
you
Rob and I were
started, yeah.
closest
Mhm.
to, we also can kind of come in and manage. But
Yeah.
Kaylee is the manager here, and because there's sort of a flower side and a bar side,
Yeah.
generally what happens, or what's supposed to happen in theory once this flower room gets finished, is that 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, with the exception of Sunday, would be a half day from like 11 to 3
11 to 3
on Sunday.
on Sunday. 11 to 3 on Sunday.
And it's mimosa specials on.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
I'm hoping they can hear. Can you think that?
I think Jonathan's responding to some of the things they say.
Okay.
So,
And so each location will have a person to come in from 9 to 3 to help on the flower side, the plants, because we have a huge
Gotcha.
selection of house plants. And then the bartender comes in around 3:30 and gets the bar prepped to open at 4. And then we stay up until 9-ish. We're really heavy on the ish because if people are having fun, we're not locking the doors.
Yeah.
Kicking them out. So,
No.
you know,
Yeah.
Keep it rolling.
If people are
Exactly.
shopping, you don't close the doors.
right. And so,
Judy knows that.
I know that one. I'm like, we stay. They're like, but we're supposed to close. No, we're not.
No, you've got your,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for right now, until that room gets finished,
Mhm.
which again is happening really soon, we're for sure open from the 4 to 9 section, and then once we get that cooler,
Okay,
and we're
I
able to do
gotcha.
the flowers, it'll be the all day kind of scenario. But we just waived, I think, like through the end of the year, we waived event space rental fees.
Mhm.
So anybody but 4-hour chunks, right? So you can have the space for 4 hours to do the bachelorette party, the bridal party, the girls' night out,
Is there a
Whatever.
minimum that they need to spend? for
We're
that?
still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Not yet.
This is when you need to jump on it though, when there's no fee associated
Correct.
right now, because y'all, this space is.
It's a beautiful space.
But-
Let's show them the space.
I am. I'm getting up. I'm gonna look. See now, look at this bar, y'all. Ooh, man. Look at that. Okay, so it's like there's wine slushies, wine margaritas.
There's a kegerator, so we've got beer, locals, crafts, domestic.
And then look at all this. Look at all this. Oh yeah. So wait a minute. What are these? Like kimonos?
So they're not a favorite from me to me gift that I've ever bought myself. But
Mhm.
it's a sister duo company out of San Diego that does these, and the artwork, they design all the artwork that goes on the fabric. You can throw them in the washing machine just like everything else. They have
Is that what the girls
pockets.
wear when they come in here for an event or something? Or?
No, it's just something, because some people are like, I want flowers, but I want to get something else, And so we have the candle bars.
Oh,
that
so
you can
this is
create
even
your
for
own
sale.
candle. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
So we've got the
Okay.
candle bar where you can create your own candle. We've got
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, create your own scent. You've got, because people can bundle, right? So they'll get a bath bomb or a soap or a T-shirt or a kimono because they want to take.
They can make their own little gift basket.
Anything that's botanical related.
And look at
There's
this.
not a ton of flowers.
I know, but let me show y'all. So that's where you keep most of your flowers, like that people can choose from.
And the floor truck bed is actually dedicated to the local farm. So we're still working on fostering those relationships with local flower farmers. If anybody knows some local flower farmers,
Hint,
please
hint,
reach out. I've got a ton, Rock Hill, York County, all that. I haven't met a ton.
You know, I just met someone, ironically, that does, and I'm trying to remember if that's you and you're watching this. Remind me if you are. But I did. I just met someone that might be just what you're looking for. So this has been fantastic.
Yes.
I want someone out there, because you saw this, to come out and see Melissa.
And
Come
see
out.
Kaylee. Here, y'all meet Kaylee real
Kaylee.
quick, because she's the manager out here. So
This is-
Bob and
this
I
is
are
the-
not here. This is Kaylee.
This is Kaylee.
Hi.
Yes.
And she's awesome at executing events and creating that culture and making
And
some
you've been
killer
working here for
drinks.
quite some time now, right?
Yeah, I was the first employee here. So
Yeah.
I've been here from the very beginning,
Yeah.
through all the changes,
Yes.
Yeah.
all the locations.
Now,
Yes.
Melissa and Rob, as boss woman and man, good boss. to work
Oh,
for,
yeah,
good people to
yeah.
work for.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
For sure.
you don't. I can move out of the
What
camera.
else? What else is she gonna
I want you
say?
to cover your ears. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jeannie, you're actually a fantastic camera operator. I love you in that role. So,
I love me too.
hey, thank you for letting us come in and do
Yes.
this.
Sure,
Great
sure.
meeting you,
Yeah,
Kaylee.
nice to meet you.
Melissa.
The
Jeannie,
flower
Winny,
bar.
Thanks for fighting through the sickness. We got it done, folks. Our second time on location. We're going to do it again. We're going to get a little better at it. But
Then we'll come back when we're better at it.
Jenny, any last words, Jenny?
No.
Hey, I got one. Let's roll. Have a good one, everybody. It's in that broadcast.